Okay, let's cook. Let's cook. So I'm gonna share this video. I just forgot to share it in the community tab because I got tasked with something before I left. Bruce MF Vane did a great video, right? And I don't even think he really understood the topic that he came up with in that video, right? It was a couple topics that I'm gonna spin that video off and I'm gonna share in the community tab into a video, right? Kind of one I was already gonna speak on, but it's like, all right, I'm gonna like really speak on it with his perspective, right? Go subscribe to Bruce MF Vane, right? So he said something, he was talking about the pound for pound list, right? And it's been historically dominated by black boxers ever since we was allowed to fight. I made a comment to somebody on social media. I'm like, when the last time a Mexican was pound for pound? I don't consider Canelo pound for pound. He wasn't a pound for pound. Like, you know, as far as an attraction, yes, Oscar De La Hoya brought it in, Chavez brought it in, Canelo brought it in, you know, but from a skill point, you know, when was it? And they always, you know, trying to, you know, put the other over the brother. Do I 100% believe it's racially motivated? No, I just think, like I always use this analogy when we talk about this kind of topic. It's like seeing the New England Patriots dominate. People was happy to see them eventually lose. I think it's like seeing the Chicago Bulls dominate in the 90s. People was ready to see something different. Kobe and Shaq, the last three-peat, people wanted to see something different. The Yankees dominated in the 90s. People wanted to see something different. So I just think it's just human nature to kind of be like, all right, I'm tired of kind of seeing the same demographic of people, especially when a lot of those black fighters are black American fighters, which they are a fighter without a support from a country. Only time you start to get support as a fighter, you know what I'm saying, for real, is when they dislike the other fighter, usually when he's black, or you in the Olympics fighting for the country's gold medal. Other than that, you really don't get that real support. You know, every once in a while, Floyd Mayweather, it was the unsupport or the hate that brought it in. You know, Muhammad Ali, he was an anomaly. He was so polarizing in his story. You know, it rubbed some people the right way and motivated, and rubbed some people the wrong way. You know, it's so wet out here, shit, crazy. And it's dark. They don't believe in no fucking lights in the suburbs at all. But, you know, you kind of catch my drift, right? And I think it's a lot of that. They always want to put the other guy on top, whether it's, you know, Pacquiao, Lomachenko. Remember, you know, one guy, Bruce forgot the name, Chocolito. You know, they was just looking for somebody else to put there. Okay, we tired of seeing these niggas on top. You know, for a long time, you got to understand, you know, Mayweather took the baton from Roy Jones Jr. You know, really, Roy, you know, we don't rank heavyweights, but for the most part, Roy, kind of took the baton from Sugar Ray Leonard. And unknown fact, had Hector Camacho not upset Sugar Ray Leonard, he was going to be in a passing of the torch fight with Oscar De La Hoya. Okay. So, but yeah, you know, they just kind of like, I'm tired of seeing them. So, you know, Bruce made another great point talking about, yeah, they tried to push the heavyweight and Usyk. You ain't never seen a heavyweight pushed on the pound for pound list. And that's how tired they're seeing black Americans dominate boxing. They tried to put a heavyweight on there. I mean, for the most part, even a cruiserweight. That's wild because nobody likes cruiserweight. So they tried to go out their way to, you know, not really let Crawford have it, not let Andre Ward have it. Really, Pacquiao, they not let him have it, but wasn't looking at the fact that Pacquiao was stripping dudes down in weight. And a lot of people felt like he was on the Orange Juice Jones. Don't touch that coke. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they had to, you know, tilt the, you know, they gotta cheat to compete. And a lot of times when they cheat to compete, they still get beat on some Rocky IV shit. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, it's just, I get it. You're tired of seeing the domination. You're tired of seeing it. So they just try to sit here and try to put anybody in. Is it they're knowingly doing it? Are they coherently doing it? Some of the people, I think, don't even know they're coherently doing it. I don't even think they're aware of why they doing it. You know, it's like a lot of people like Brad and Becky who has, you know, white privilege or mayonnaise privilege and shit like that. I don't think they understand. They don't really understand their privilege. You know how they be like, well, we're in a recession. It's like, niggas, like, we've been in a recession. We've been struggling. It ain't nothing new to us. You know, we just got to hit the pivot. You know what I'm saying? We got to, you know, hit some. We got to, hustle. Keep hustling harder and finding a way to keep our head above water. For them, it's freak out time. They walk with a lot of privilege right here. They do a lot of evil shit, and it's shunned to speak about it. You know, a lot of them Hectors, they like to say, I'm a Brad. A lot of them Marias like to say, I'm a Becky. You know, a lot of those Ling Lings and Lees identify on a little thing as a Becky. That's why a lot of people be like, the census the census numbers is BS. But then when it comes to saying the N-word or dressing or wearing our wear or getting us to promote their products, it's like, you know, they like to celebrate it, but, you know, they like to enjoy it, but they don't want to celebrate it and give credit. And I think a lot of that is in the boxing sphere, you know, in my opinion. I think a lot of that is in the boxing sphere. I don't really think people really understand. They tired of it. They kind of understand it, but they don't even understand. Like, man, I'm just tired of this nigga, man. That's why when they retire, you know, and they gone, they be like, damn, man, I miss what we had. He was a great, they want to give him credit when he gone. You know what I'm saying? They want to give him credit when he out of there, or they lose, you know, he finally lose because he get old, or he finally lose. Oh, he was a great fighter, and he was this, and he was that. That's when they start talking that bullshit. It's more of a relief. I finally can say he was this, that, and the third. Think about Triple G. Ain't no reason Triple G should be in the Hall of Fame. I can make 1,001 reasons why a Tarver should be in there before Triple G, but I ain't here to talk about that. But they pumped them up because they don't have nothing else. Anything that's closer to their skin folk, they don't have nothing else. You notice they never sit there and get behind another black fighter like that and be like, okay, they never take an American African fighter either, but any from the diaspora, they don't never take them and be like, well, he the man. They never take them and blow them up like Chocolito. Every little thing they do is great. It's oh my God, wow. Like he's a 2-year-old. Ooh, Jimmy took his first step. You know what I'm saying? They never do that. It's just like walking as a black man in this country, in this world. You gotta be extraordinary just to get a little bit of credit. Just a little bit of credit. You gotta remember that. You got to be extraordinary just to get a little bit of credit. And even when it's time to give you your credit, they don't even want to give you your credit. It's always met with a bud or some type of, or lack of energy or lack of jubilee. But when they give other people credit, employees in a month, it's all energy, it's all extra shit. You know, you never get recognized, you know, for doing damn near the impossible and working miracles and shit. All you get is hate because how well you do the job is no different than boxing. It's no different. They just tired of seeing the same faces dominate. That's why I said on De La Hoya post on Instagram, this clapback Thursday last week, or, you know, the 2 weeks before Christmas. Whatever, before the first week of December, whatever it was, right? And, you know, I pretty much said that, why don't you just go start your own boxing league? You ain't got to worry about the black dollar with the whole, you know, Crawford and Pez. Just start your own league and we see where it can go. Let us do our thing, y'all do y'all thing, and much hope of success for y'all. You know what I mean? But, you know, it is what it is, or it is what it ain't. But yeah, they try to put any and everybody over brothers, man. They couldn't do it to Roy. As much as y'all want to say, well, Oscar De La Hoya was a good attraction. You know, he sold more tickets and more pay-per-views than Roy, but he wasn't the best fighter at the time. You know, Chavez, they try to, you know, say he was the best. Got beat by Pernell Whitaker. And they robbed him. And then got stopped by Frankie Randall. And no disrespect to Frankie Randall, good fighter. Then they robbed Randall in the second fight. You know, it's just a belief that, oh, you know, most people, if you just listen to boxing and you don't know historically nothing about boxing, you think Mexicans invented boxing. No, the boxing was created in the UK. If you're in the Ip Man movies, or you in the Kung Fu movies, it shows some of that in the Kung Fu movies. And one of the Ip Mans, he had to fight the big European British fighter. That's the Queensberry's rules. That's when they get talk about holding, and they said no holding in the Queensberry's rules and all that. That's when we get into that. The Queen, you know. So yeah, that's when we start having those conversations, right? So yeah, you know, always do a little history on boxing, man, yourself, and find people that's knowledgeable. But you would think the way they praise Hispanics that they would, you would think they would run the pay-per-views and the top gates list. You would think they'd run that shit. You would think they run that, but they don't. That's why it's very important to research. So, but yeah, that's all I had to say. I ain't gonna make it long. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree, find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, the whole nine. Join the Patreon. Peace.